Audio check 1, 2, 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel here tonight for round 15 of the Formula One League here on the EA Sports F1 game. This season 5, we're coming towards the closing part of the season here. We're obviously round 15 of 21 altogether, and we're at what looks to be quite a sodden wet Monza here tonight for this sprint race. This is not the Grand Prix, this is the opening race of the night, which is a sprint. So we'll be doing a third of the race distance with no pit stop for this sprint race. It's going to be extra challenging here. The drivers probably will not be too familiar with their braking points and stuff like that, so it's all going to be a bit of a journey into the unknown here in this sprint race. It looks to me like it should be intermediate conditions. Let's have a look and see what the guys have gone for. Oh, it's actually wet. Wow, okay. Well, that just goes to show how much I know about this F1 game. Not much, but yeah, I don't really play the game. I commentate, I don't play it. But yeah, the whole field on wet tyres here. All 17 drivers have opted for the full wet tyres here, the full wet range of the Pirelli range, currently in show here. But we've got 17 drivers on the grid tonight. Obviously, we're missing one that we were expecting. That's Tony Zero, who's commenting actually in the stream. He's due to be joining us for the Grand Prix a bit later on. He'll have to start from the back though, because obviously when you don't do the sprint, you have to start from the back. But yeah, basically it's going to be an exciting race here. We've got Senna taking pole in the one-shot qualifying session by quite some way as well. I mean, he was absolutely miles ahead of everybody else in that one-shot qualifying session. Just gone, really did blow them all away. So it's going to take something special, I think, tonight for anybody to be able to get anywhere near him. But saying that, the wet conditions are going to be a big equaliser. Also, one man to watch tonight is Joram, who's racing as a late stand-in reserve here tonight. Obviously, he's our 3-time champion of the F1 League at Motive, and this season has been racing as a sporadic reserve. He raced in Hungary, where he got a very, very lucky, let's be honest, Grand Prix win in that one due to a safety car. If it wasn't for a safety car, he would not have had a chance, but managed to take a win in that one. His other 2 wins this season have been quite dominant, in all fairness. Miami was particularly one-sided. But yeah, I mean, this season he's been superb. Every time he's been on the track, he's won 3 races out of 3 in the races that he's actually turned up for. So yeah, he's been absolutely superb when we've seen him out on track. But can he go from 17th up to a strong position here in this sprint race? I'm sure he could probably get in a top 5 podium. Maybe a bit of a push, but let's see. But we got Gertian starting in P15, didn't get a lap in one-shot quali. Neither did Mike either, so these two also well out of position, which is going to give Senna a really good opportunity to try and clear off into the distance at the start. It's going to be interesting to see how much he can build on that. Got Tony Zero saying hi, Graki saying good evening all. Tony Zero says, let's go McLaren, it's rain, is it dry in the race? GGG 15. I don't know if it's dry in the race, mate. I've got no access to any of the weather forecasts, so I don't actually know. The drivers will know, but I unfortunately do not. But here we go, we're about to go racing here for the sprint race here tonight at Monza. And here we go, it's lights out and away we go. And looks like Senna gets away nicely, minimises the wheel spin. Matty Pitt there didn't get a great start. Has already been jumped there by Pusher Dino. Pusher Dino now attacking to the outside here of Senna, coming down towards the first chicane. Somebody's onto the grass there. That was a Ferrari in the background. Mike there was getting squeezed onto the grass as there's a Haas almost spinning, and there's an Alpine there cutting the first chicane, as well as a Haas, the Grieve there, and Mr. Basil both cutting the first chicane there. But it's Senna leading right now. And have we got a VSC? I think we might have a VSC because they're all slowing down. Oh, Senna's lost it. He's in a puddle. Oh no, instead of the race leader has stacked it there, coming to the Curva Grande, and he's into the wall. He's lost his front wing. He was leading the race here on the first lap of the race. What has happened there to him? He's down to the back. This is unbelievable. The pole sitter is down to 16th place. We've lost Martin from the race as well, so he's retired very early on here in this sprint race. But what an unbelievable start. And it's currently Pusher Dino, who now leads the race ahead of Mr. Basil, with Matty Pitt there third ahead of the Grieve, followed by that guy Sean. Mike running in P6 ahead of V10 Ultra. Mike, though, has gone from P16 on the grid up into 6, so he's gained 10 places. We had a virtual safety car after about 4 corners, so I don't know how he's managed that, but he's running in P6 at the moment. But currently full course caution here as they're coming through Ascari at the moment. So no overtaking. They're currently just clearing whatever incident happened in the first sector, and hopefully they'll get it cleared before they come round, and we'll be able to go racing here. Coming down the start-finish straight, I would imagine. Mike there lost out to V10 Ultra for a moment, but has got back past him. It looks like we're racing again here, so we're back underway. Green flag conditions. Matty Pitt wasting no time getting ahead of Mr. Basil there, up into second place. And Mr. Basil losing places here. What's happening? Oh, he's in the pits. That would explain that. So Mr. Basil there coming into the pits at the end of the first lap. Don't know if he'd have damage there on the car maybe, but something obviously impeding him a little bit. In the meantime, we've got an Aston Martin looking to the inside of a Haas as that guy Sean trying to make a move there on the Grieve, but the Grieve keeping onto that one. The Grieve getting a poor run though out of the first chicane, and they're going to be side by side here to the Curva Grande in the background. Little Grieve, he's got ahead of Stiffmeister, and Joram has as well. So Stiffmeister losing a couple of places there. That guy Sean onto the grass there, coming through Curva Grande. Yeah, managed to keep the momentum. Wow, incredible stuff, and actually stays ahead of the Grieve coming down towards the De La Roja chicane as the Grieve's now got pressure from Mike. Down the inside, and there's contact there between the two of them as that guy Sean cuts the chicane, but the Grieve they're getting pushed around by Mike. Was that Mike's fault? I'm not quite sure, but the Grieve is dropping down the pack here. He's in 14th place, and that couldn't have gone much worse there for him. Eggman's also dropped it coming out of the De La Roja chicane, and has dropped to other places here, so he's down to 10th place here in this race as he's attacking on the back of Stiffmeister right now. But a very chaotic start to this sprint race here tonight, as Stiffmeister there moving through ahead of V10 Ultra. Gertjan here trying to attack on the back of these guys here as well. So all sorts going on as V10 Ultra loses out to Gertjan. Gertjan up into 9th place here. So he's continuing to make gains, but not as strong as Mike, who's currently running in 3rd place at the moment. Mike obviously started P16, he's up into 3rd. Gertjan started 15th, he's up into 9th. So both of these guys definitely making progress here in the early part of this race. But it's definitely Mike who seems to be doing the better of those two at this point. There's the lead pack, as you can see. It's quite a close pack here, all the way from pretty much down to 6th down to about 13th place. About 8 cars in a line here, as Joram's made a move here on Little Greavy coming down the start finish straight, and he's moves himself through up into P6. As he completed that move, is Little Griever going to try and come back at him into the first chicane. He thinks about it, but thinks better of it and tucks in for the time being. So that's job done there for Joram. And the Grieve is out of the race. He's crashed out here at the beginning of lap 3. Is that going to be a safety car? No safety car by the looks of it. It's a VSC again. I know it is a safety car, but the thing is they've just gone around there, so they're only just coming to the end of the first sector, so they're going to have to go around the entire lap here before they pick the safety car up. So it's going to be a little while before we get onto the train. You can see on the mini map that the Grieve actually binned it, I think, into the pit wall by the looks of it. I'm not sure because his car was stuck on the coming on the start finish straight, just coming up towards the line. It looked like he might have stacked it into the pit wall. But nonetheless, it's Pusher Dino leading the race here on lap 3 ahead of Matty Pitt, with Mike running in 3rd place at the moment. That guy Sean in 4th, with Crazy Max running in P5. Joram up into 6th from the back of the pack, so he's made a very strong start, as has Mike. Gertjan currently running in 9th place. So Mike, Joram and Gertjan, the ones you want to really be watching out for. Senna obviously put it on pole position in the qualifying, the one-shot qualifying, but completely negated his advantage by spinning coming through Curva Grande on lap 1. Didn't know what happened to him, but a very, very strange incident there, as Joram briefly got ahead of Crazy Max there, but he doesn't want to be doing that, because if he does that under safety car too often, he'll get himself a penalty. But we're coming around to pick up a safety car in a few moments time. Pusher Dino, the race leader, as he's coming out onto the start finish straight here. So we're just going to be a little while before we get things back underway again. Hopefully it won't be too long under the safety car, because the sprint races are short enough as they are, and obviously when you have a safety car, it really does eat into the race and eat into the exciting parts of it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how quickly they can get this sorted out. But obviously no position changes whilst they're under safety car. Tony Zero says it's nice to watch, but not racing it sometimes. You get more of a feel of what it's like to follow the action, I guess. You know, seeing your rivals battling, it can sometimes be quite relaxing, knowing that you're not involved in it, knowing that you're not under the heat of the battle and in a pressuring scenario. It's quite nice to just be able to sit back and enjoy it rather than stress yourself out and be all over the sweating over the wheel. And yeah, it can be nice just to relax, sit back and enjoy what you're watching. But Pusher Dino leading the race here. Obviously he's had the lead handed to him on a plate with Senna binning it, but Mike running in 3rd place. I think the 3 contenders here who are coming through the pack, Mike, Joram and Gertjan, running in 3rd, 6th and 9th places right now. I reckon a Pusher Dino and Matty Pitt are going to struggle to keep Mike behind him with the pace that Mike's got, and we know that Mike is a bit of a rainmaster as well. I mean, Red Bull Ring earlier this season for the Austrian Grand Prix was absolute testament to this. If anybody here didn't see or doesn't know what happened at the Austrian Grand Prix earlier this season, essentially he kept on a set of worn intermediate tyres in heavy rain when everybody else switched to the wets. He stayed on the intermediate tyres all the way to the end, worn out intermediates, managed to hold on and take the win on the track ahead of Gertjan, and the only thing that lost him the win was the fact that he had a time penalty. If it wasn't for the time penalty, he would have won the race. He managed to keep out there with Gertjan, reeling him in for about a second a lap every lap, and actually managed to hold him off on the track. I was actually gutted, to be fair, not because Gertjan won. Obviously I'm always happy for Gertjan, even though he does win far too many races, no offence mate, but yeah, essentially it was just because it was such a story, him managing to stay out on those wet intermediate tyres and make them work and not making any mistakes, just basically standing up to all the pressure that Gertjan was throwing at him. And if it wasn't for the fact that he had the time penalty, he would have been a fairy tale victory there for him. But he lost out, obviously, due to the penalties, and the record books say that he was P2 in that race, and that is ultimately how you've got to look at it. But yeah, it was a shame for me that he didn't take that W. But nonetheless, we are here on lap 5 of the sprint race, guys. If you are just joining us, we are currently on a safety car, just waiting for this safety car period to subside. Obviously, once it does, we'll be officially underway for the Grand Prix itself. I'm currently on my own in the commentary box tonight. Don't think Max is around tonight. He did get an invite to the session, but I don't think he's about. So you've just got my dulcet tones here to keep you company tonight. I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't really call myself dulcet tones because that's a very. It's not really done. You don't really flatter yourself, do you? It's not really the done thing. But nonetheless, here we are coming towards the end of lap 5. Do you know what? A funny story about that, actually. I used to think that dulcet tones was an insult. When people used to say, "Oh, I just joined to listen to your dulcet tones," I always thought that it was an insult. I thought that dulcet tones sounded a bit like they were saying that you sound dull, or that you sound boring, or that you sound just, I don't know, not pleasant to listen to. And yeah, I found out probably after a couple of years of commentating that actually dulcet tones is a compliment. It's supposed to mean that your voice is nice to listen to, or that you're a pleasure to sort of hear. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, it's really weird. But anyway, enough about that. What is going on here? Oh my god, there's been a pile up here under the safety car. That is inexcusable, guys. Come on, what is going on there? As well, we haven't lost any. No, Mr. Basil, was it Mr. Basil already out of the race? No, he wasn't. Oh, come on, guys, that is absolutely ridiculous. Come on, what is going on there? As I said, inexcusable. We're getting underway once again for the final 4 laps of the sprint race, though. Pusher Dino coming over the line, has managed to get a bit of a jump in. Mike is already all over the back of Matty Pitt, though, coming down the start-finish straight. He's going to make the move into P2. I think he is probably going to be able to get this one done here as we come into the first chicane. Side by side, Matty Pitt going a bit later on the brakes. Goes a little bit deep there, coming into the chicane. Goes over the sleeping policeman as well, and Mike has to take a race of action, and Sean moves through up into second place. In the background, you got 3 wide here as Little Greavy moving ahead of Joram, and Joram here trying to squeeze through ahead of Stiffmeister as they come through cover. And then there's contact there between Joram and Stiffmeister's off onto the grass there as they come on the exit of Curva Grande and down towards the De La Rocha chicane, and Joram there losing out to Stiffmeister and Crazy Max. Oh, nightmare there for Joram there as he loses out a couple of places as he's now looking to try and keep ahead of Trucky, who's attacking on him, coming down towards Lesmo 1 as Eggman's got ahead of Senna up into 12th place. So Senna losing more places, losing more time in this race, but Pusher Dino leading ahead of Mike, who's struggled to actually close in on him. I don't know whether that guy Sean hit him or something through the first sector there, but Mike is 3 seconds behind Pusher Dino, and Pusher Dino is currently putting out a bit of a gap here, so looking to try and take his first win here at Motive as Gertjan's up into P5 now ahead of Little Greavy, and Joram's done Crazy Max into 8th place coming into Ascari. But chaotic restart here in this sprint race, and Pusher Dino currently leading by 3 seconds ahead of Mike. There's Sean ahead of Matty Pitt, followed by Gertjan. You've got Little Greavy, who's got Stiffmeister looking to his inside into the Parabolica, and Stiffmeister moved himself through up into P6. Beautifully done there from him. B10 Ultra currently still on the back of Crazy Max as they're coming out of the Parabolica once again here. As Joram here has made the move on Little Greavy coming down towards the first chicane. Can Little Greavy send one on the brakes? Doesn't look like it. He's going to have to tuck in for the time being. Crazy Max there just ahead of V10 Ultra as they're coming through the first chicane as well. But Guryan here, all over the back of Matty Pitt as they come through the Curva Grande. Here they come, down towards Delaware chicane, and Guryan's going to move himself through up into another position here. Up into 4th place he goes. Beautiful move there up the inside there from Guryan as we look back to V10 Ultra, who's looking down the inside here. Crazy Max into the chicane, but Crazy Max just covers him off there as they come out of the corner here, down towards Lesmos. Can V10 Ultra send out the inside? No, he can't. Has to tuck in for the time being. Nothing doing, no dice there for him as Guryan's now on the back of Sean and looking to try and pick up another driver here and get himself into the podium places if he can. So if you're currently watching on the stream, guys, if you're enjoying, please do smash the like button and show appreciation for the drivers as they're putting on a show here tonight for us here at Monza in these wet conditions. Not easy to drive these F1 cars in conditions like this, full wet conditions as well, plenty of puddles out there to catch them out, but they're currently doing a great job of steering clear of any potential hazards as we've got Guryan looking to the inside here of Sean into Parabolica, but he's too far back. Stiffmeister here down the inside of Matty Pitt into the Parabolica. Beautiful move there from him. Matty Pitt gives him a bit of a tap in the rear as they came through the corner, but Stiffmeister there moves himself through up into P5, and that is job done there for him. As V10 Ultra has got ahead of Crazy Max as well here, up into 9th place, making up another position there for him. But Pusher Dino leading the race, but his gap to Mike's coming down very, very quickly as well. The gap is just over a second between Pusher Dino and Mike. So Mike has done absolute bits here as Guryan now ahead of Sean up into 3rd place. He's made that move into the first chicane. So can Guryan now chase down the leaders with 2 laps left in this race? I think that might be a bit of an ambitious target there as Stiffmeister's got ahead of that guy Sean. Joram has moved ahead of Matty Pitt. So Guryan and Joram both moving their way up the order here. But Pusher Dino's got just over a second of a gap here over Mike. Mike is hunting him down though as they're in the final lap and a half of this race. As here we come through the Lesmos we go and out onto this back straight which leads down towards Ascari. Currently Pusher Dino just ahead of Mike as we come in towards the final part of this sprint race. Who is going to be the race winner here for this opening race of the night for the F1 League? It's Pusher Dino from Mike. They've got a big gap back to Guryan, who's running in 3rd place. He's got Stiffmeister behind him with Sean as Joram looking to the inside of Sean into Ascari, but just a little bit too far back. Can't make the move just at the moment. Has to tuck in. Is Joram going to be able to make a move here down towards the Parabolica? He's going to surely get a great run here. Has he got the straight line speed to do so? He's tucking in for the slipstream. Seems to be losing a little bit down the straights here, this Joram. Coming into the Parabolica. Here we go. And he's way too far back, but if he can get a good traction here out of the Parabolica, he might have a chance down the start finish straight, trying to minimise the wheel spin there as he gets onto the power. In the slipstream once again here is Joram, and surely this is going to be job done here. Pulls out the slipstream now. He's going to breeze past Sean, and Sean there offering no defence, knows that Joram's going to make his way through one way or the other, and Joram here up into P5 gets that one beautifully there. But in the meantime, we've got to go back to the leaders because Pusher Dino could be about to take his first ever win here at Motive tonight. If he's able to hold on here, Mike is really putting the pressure on him as they're coming down towards the chicane. But he's a little bit too far back just at the moment. Pusher Dino doing a good job here. But obviously these two are teammates now because Pusher Dino, the newcomer to the league, joined last week at Zandvoort. And he's currently doing everything he has to do here in this sprint race. It's been a superb drive from him. He's been able to hold on to the car. He's been able to withstand the pressure and keep his composure. Coming out of Lesmo 2 here, and we're about to come into the final part of the lap. Pusher Dino clinging on by the skin of his teeth. Mike's been gaining on him the last few laps, but where's he going to make this move? That's the question. If he can get a good run out of Ascari, he might have a chance. Looking to the inside, throwing a feint there, trying to put Pusher Dino off, trying to force him into a mistake. Pusher Dino goes a little bit deep there through Ascari. Can he get a good exit though? If you get a good exit, he'll probably be okay as he parks his car on the inside, and Mike wasn't able to get a good exit because he got stuck behind Pusher Dino, had to get off the throttle a little bit. Coming down towards the Parabolica, I think Pusher Dino should be able to see this one out as Mike looking to the inside, throwing a feint again into the Parabolica. Pusher Dino clinging to the inside line, almost tapping a curb there. You don't want to do that in the wet, but Pusher Dino here has done enough by the looks of it, and up towards the line, he's going to take the sprint race win. Great drive here from Pusher Dino, holds off the charge of Mike, who takes P2. Guryan comes over to complete the podium ahead of Stiffmeister, who comes over in 4th place, followed by Joram, who takes P5 after a bit of a chaotic race for him. That guy Sean over in P6 ahead of Matty Pitt in 7th, followed by Little Greavy, who comes over in 8th. V10 Ultra in 9th. What I was saying, that Crazy Max gets him on the penalty, so Crazy Max 9th, V10 Ultra 10th. Eggman gets V10 Ultra on the penalties as well, up into P10 in the end, with V10 Ultra 11th and Trucky Man 12th, and everybody else retired from the race. But that was a fantastic sprint race here, guys. and hopefully we'll have more of the same for the Grand Prix coming up after that. The grid order will be obviously based on the results from the sprint race, so it will be Pusher Dino who will be starting the Grand Prix from pole position ahead of Mike, with Gertjan and Stiffmeister on the second row, Jelram and that guy Sean lining up behind them as well. Guys, it's going to be an absolutely fascinating Italian Grand Prix here for Season 5 at Motive. I'm thoroughly excited for this one. And yeah, this is going to be absolutely superb. But Mike, Gertjan and Jelram, obviously, I think they're going to be the contenders in the dry conditions, but you can't count out Pusher Dino with that sort of performance. And you know, he's clearly got a bit of grip in him and a bit of determination. But over a 4 race distance in the dry conditions, who is going to be able to stop the big three? It's obviously going to be a big challenge here for Pusher Dino. But we're going to find out very, very shortly. Here we are then, guys, we're getting ready to go for the Italian Grand Prix here tonight at Motive. 17 cars out on the track here for the Grand Prix itself in the dry conditions here now, so clear skies at Monza, which is going to be favourable to drivers like Mike, Gertjan and Joe. I said earlier on, in the dry they're probably going to be the main contenders here. But don't count out Pusher Dino. Obviously took a sprint race win in the wet conditions, managed to get a bit fortuitous with Senna spinning out through the Curva Grande on the first lap. And Senna's also got some pace here in the dry as well. We saw taking pole in the one-shot quality session, so he's going to be interesting to watch from P13 with the hard tyres on as well. Pusher Dino's gone for the mediums, Mike's gone for the softs for the first stint here, so Mike's obviously going to be looking to try and get ahead of Pusher Dino quite quickly here and put a bit of a gap, because he needs to make he needs to make the most of those soft tyres whilst they last, because they do not last long, that's for sure. But lining up on the grid here, getting ready to go for the Italian Grand Prix at Motive. We've got Pusher Dino on pole with Mike alongside him, Gertjan and Stiffmeister on the second row, with Joram and that guy Sean in 5th and 6th, followed by Matty Pitt and Little Greavy. Then you've got Crazy Max and Eggman ahead of V10 Ultra and Trucky Senna in 13th ahead of Polish My Balls, followed by Mr. Basil, and you've got the Grieve and Martin at the back in 17th place. In a few moments time you'll hear the engine revs start to rise, you'll hear the lights coming on, you'll hear the little sound effect as they start to pop up on the screen, and then we'll know we're locked in and ready to go for the Italian Grand Prix for Season 5 here at Motive Racing on the EA Sports Formula 1 game. And it's lights out and away we go. And as they went out very quickly there indeed, and Mike's got a better start than Pusher Dino, and he's already leading here. The soft tyres here, getting the traction off of the line absolutely brilliantly, and now Mike will look to try and build a gap as we come into turn one. Oh, as Gertjan goes a little bit deep there on the brakes, almost taps Pusher Dino in the rear. Did he actually give him a bit of a knock there? I'm not quite sure, but Gertjan and Joram up into second and third places here, coming through the Curva Grande for the first time. Mike has already got nearly a 2-second gap here over Gertjan. Obviously Gertjan got ahead of the other Ferrari of Pushadino, but did he push him out of the way? That's going to be the big question here, as we've got an Aston Martin here looking to the inside of Little Gravy, but too far. Actually, no, you've got an Aston Martin looking on Aston Martin there. That guy Sean having to defend from his teammate Crazy Max. Martin's gone ahead of Matty Pitt up into 10th place. Eggman's lost a couple of places here to Senna and Truckee, but it's Mike leading coming through on the exit of the Lesmos for the first lap. You've got Gertie in there running just ahead of Joram at the moment. And these two big rivals, Gertian and Joram, these two have had some great battles over the seasons here at Motive. And obviously, with Joram not being a permanent driver this season, Gertian, the runaway championship leader, has had it pretty much to himself this season. Not in terms of the races, because obviously there's been some races where Senna was able to take the fight to him. But the only issue is that with Senna not being able to make all the races this season, Gertian has got an unassailable lead in the championship. He's having to defend, though, from our three-time champion. Racing as a reserve tonight, Joram, as Pushadino trying to make a move here on Crazy Max coming through the Parabolica. Can he get a run here coming out onto the start-finish straight? He's looking to the outside as he's got the run here coming out onto the start-finish straight. Here we go. Is he going to tuck back into the slipstream? Yes, he is. And Pushadino here seems to not have much pace in a straight line. So Crazy Max here with a much lower downforce setup, which is helping him pull away from Pushadino by quite a bit. But Mike's still leading by nearly 2 seconds ahead of Gertian. Joram ahead of Stiffmeister, followed by Little Gravy, with Sean running in P6. You've got Crazy Max ahead of Pushadino, followed by Mr. Basil. Martin ahead of Matty Pitt. There's V10 Ultra ahead of Senna. And Eggman, Truckee, The Grieve, and Polish My Balls there, running in P17 in this race. Stiffmeister's made the move here on Joram. What's happened there? So, in fact, Stiffmeister they're going straight on, and Joram they're getting the position back, so he's back up into third place there. Stiffmeister they're cutting the corner and getting the position as a result. Mr. Basil's dropped it on the exit of the chicane, and he's spinning out there onto the runoff, so he's going to lose out to pretty much everybody here. He's down to the back of the pack, and Mr. Basil in 17th place here in this race. That's gone a nightmare for him. And he's going to have a long way back here in this one. He'll be hoping for a safety car to try and redeem his race a little bit. Pushadino in the meantime has done Crazy Max into Ascari, so he's up into P7 now. It's Pushadino. Elsewhere, Senna's up into 12th and now looking to try and get a move here done on V10 Ultra as down the back straight we come. He's going to breeze past him without DRS even being required, and Senna here up into 11th place, now knocking on the door of a points position in the shape of Matty Pitt, who's running in P10 at this point. Mike there with the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 23.2, so he's flying out the front on those soft tyres, but obviously with those softs he will have an advantage at the moment. But that advantage will be negated later on in the race because he's going to have to put the hard tyres on for his second stint. And obviously Gertian and Joram will be able to put the soft tyres on for their final stint. But this could all be completely negated. If we have a safety car, then strategy could go completely out of the door. But obviously safety cars on reduced for this F1 league means that you're taking a risk if you pull any sort of silly manoeuvres. So yeah, it's not likely that the safety car will be called out. I think it's about a 50% chance, generally speaking, over the course of this season. I think safety cars aren't always a given. There's quite a few races where we haven't had one. So it's not something you really can bank on. You know, you might as well go for a strategy and try and stick to it because it could pay off. It could pay massive dividends. But Mike's still leading right now by just under 3 seconds ahead of Gertian, who's got Joram all over the back of him into Ascari. And in the meantime, Stiffmeister's got ahead of Little Gravy back up into 4th place. But let's jump on board with Joram here with DRS coming down towards the Parabolica. He's going to be able to make a move. No DRS on this part of the track. He'll get it on the start-finish straight though. As into the Parabolica he goes, staying put for the time being because he knows that if he were to make the move here, he would then forfeit the DRS down the main straight. So here we come out of the Parabolica now. It's going to be pretty much a drag strip here, but with Joram with that rear wing wide open, it will give him that huge advantage here as he's now going to get it open and pull out to the right hand side, and it's going to be Joram breezing past Gertian up into 2nd place. Hasn't got much straight line speed as Joram, to be fair. His overspeed over Gertian was not that much when you consider the fact that he had DRS. But nonetheless gets the move done up into 2nd anyway. And now obviously into clean air, 3 seconds behind the leader, but Gertian's coming back at him here. And I said before, Joram's straight line speed is not really there, and Gertian's come past him through the Curva Grande and up into the Rocha chicane, and Gertian's back up into 2nd place as Pushadino in the meantime has got ahead of Sean here up into P5, so he's made a position there. Brilliant stuff there from Pushadino. Crazy Max is currently trying to put the pressure here on Martin. That guy Sean though is all over the back of Pushadino, trying to come back at him coming through Lesmo 1. Also Senna's closer and closer to the back of Matty Pitt here as they're coming through Lesmo 2. So Senna obviously starting down the pack in P14 was at the back of the pack of the first lap of the sprint race and had to really fight his way through. But currently doing a good job here on these hard tyres, let's not forget as well. So he's in a decent position strategy wise, and he's only about 6 or 7 seconds behind Gertie and Joe. Oh, and Crazy Max has been there. Matty Pitt loses it as well. So Crazy Max losing it. Matty Pitt copying the exact same motion that Crazy Max did there. And they're both losing places. Senna up 2 places. There's thank you very much indeed. So does V10 Ultra. In the meantime, Martin's lost out here to Sean. So Sean's back up into 6th place here. But Crazy Max now losing out to the Grieve as well. So lots of drivers dropping it here at this stage. And it's Mike still leading by nearly 3 seconds ahead of Gertie. And Joe Arm's trying to come back at Gertie. And these two have swapped places over the last couple of laps a couple of times, but Joe Arm obviously hasn't got a straight line speed really over Gertie at this point. Crazy Max has got ahead of the Grieve up into 12th place coming down the main straight, so that's Crazy Max there up into 12th. Matty Pitt here into the pits at the end of lap 4, so he's getting his front wing changed after that incident that we saw coming out of Ascari, where he sympathetically lost it in relation to Crazy Max, and obviously came off a lot worse than Crazy Max did in that skirmish. But we've got to watch this battle here between Gertie and Joe Arm, because these two are currently going at it here, coming through on the exit of Lesmo too. Currently half a second between them, but Joe Arm obviously hasn't really got straight line speed. He's got the DRS, and that's helping him get closer to Gertie, but he's just not close enough to go for a move here into Ascari. He can keep himself close and get a good exit out of here. He'll be able to have a run out of the Parabolica, which will then set him up down the main straight where he made the move a couple of laps ago. But the thing is, because Gertie's got so much better straight line speed, Gertie was just able to come back at him straight away coming to the Curva Grande. And I wonder if we're going to see a similar situation here. What sort of exit does Joe Arm get out of the Parabolica? He gets a decent one, 0.3 of a second between them as they come into the DRS zone. Senna's got ahead of Martin, noticing that on the timing screen. You can see there Senna now in 7th place. But Joe Arm here, once again, he's got the DRS, but he's just not getting enough overspeed on Gertie, and Gertie's just more than comfortable here in that 2nd place. The interesting thing though is that both of these two are somehow gaining on Mike, even though Mike is on soft tyres. These two both on the hards, they're actually gaining on Mike on that previous lap, so I'm not quite sure how that's come about. I don't know if Mike made a bit of a mistake here, but these two are currently reeling him in by quite a bit. Martin is in the pits here at the end of lap 5, so he's coming in to get some damage repair by the looks of it, or maybe just a scheduled pit stop, I'm not sure. But yeah, not ideal for him, that's for sure. But Mike's still leading as they're coming down the back straight towards Ascari once again. There's Gertie in ahead of Joe Arm right now as they come underneath the old circuit. As that was a hiccup. But yeah, currently Mike here with the ascendancy by just under 2 seconds. These two are continuing to reel him in, and Joe getting closer to the back of Gertie, but just a little bit too far away into the Parabolica. Can he get a good run though coming out onto the start finish straight? I think he might be able to here. He's getting a little bit closer here is Joe Arm, and he'll get DRS down the main straight as well. Here we go, picking up a bit of overspeed there with the rear wing, and he's getting a toe this time around, and Joe Arm looking to the inside. He'll be able to make a move here into turn 1. Surely he's going to get it done on the brakes, but Gertie, and we know, has got the speed through the Curva Grande. He'll get a better exit maybe out of turn 1, and it's going to be close here between these two, but for now Joe Arm's done it. But Gertie's going to try and come back at him coming down towards the De La Rocha chicane. Through Curva Grande we go. You can see just how much more speed he's got than Joe Arm, but Joe Arm has got enough of a gap here into the De La Rocha chicane to hold on ahead of him, and Joe Arm here, that's now job done for him up into 2nd place. But these two continuing to gain on Mike, who seems to be losing time to them, as Senna has now got ahead of Sean up into 6th place, but he's about 10 seconds behind the lead battle, so he's made really good progress, but he's a long way behind the leaders at this point. As here we go, Joe Arm's now making a move on Mike to the inside in towards Ascari, and he's going to breeze past him there down the inside. Joe Arm up into the lead here, so he's gone and made 2 moves in the space of a lap, and Joe Arm, the 3-time champion of the F1 League here at Motive, now has P1 in the Italian Grand Prix here tonight on the hard tyres as well. So with that favoured strategy, and Gertie now needs to clear Mike, and quickly here, if he wants to keep on Joe Arm's tail as they're coming out of the Parabolica now to complete lap 7 of the race. But Joe Arm now with the ascendancy here in this one as he does the fast lap of the race there, 1:22.2. That's an absolute stormer of a lap there from Joe Arm. As Martin just coming out of the pits here, so has he been back in the pits? I think he might have been back in the pits here. So this race has not gone to plan at all for him. As Senna's now ahead of Pusher Dino around the outside into turn 1, overtaking his old team there. He used to drive in the Ferrari, did Senna, but has gone for the Red Bull in a reserve appearance here tonight. But here goes Pusher Dino looking back to the outside here through the Curva Grande. Is he going to be able to make a move into the De La Rocha chicane? Looks like he's not really got any speed there, and Senna has the move done easily there into P5. But in the meantime, Gertian on the back of Mike as they're coming down this back straight, looking to the outside. Thing is though, Mike's got DRS on Joram, but Gertian's still getting the run, and Mike there, I think, made that a little bit too easy there for Gertian. Gertian breezing around the outside and up into second place here, so now he can try and chase down the race here to Joram, and he's just about within a second of him here, so he will be able to get DRS down the start-finish straight, which will just bring him that little bit closer to the race leader. So Gertian definitely still in contention for this race win. As we said before, Joram and Gertian have been running pretty much nip and tuck for the duration of this race. These two old rivals are going to battle this Italian Grand Prix out, I think, here tonight. I think Mike hasn't got the pace here on those soft tyres. He was struggling to even keep up with him on the soft tyres. So I think it's going to be between these two for the race victory here tonight. So Mike into the pits. Little Greavy just coming over the line here to start lap 9. But Mike there has put the hard tyres on, so it'd be good to go to the end. And I'm sure targeting a podium finish in this race. The two leaders, Joram and Gertian, currently 10 seconds clear of Little Greavy running in third place. Senna though on the back of Little Greavy, so it could be an interesting battle here actually between Senna and Mike for the final podium place. That's going to be one to watch here. I reckon that could be quite a close fight, as Dino looking to the inside of Sean into De La Rocha chicane, but it's a little bit too far back at the moment, has to tuck in for the time being. So here we come down the back straight, down towards the Parabolica once again. There's Joram, there's Gertian. Senna all over the back of Little Greavy here as they're coming down the back straight, down towards the Parabolica again. And Senna here looking to the inside of Little Greavy, down into the corner they go. Is he going to make this move? He's going to send one up the inside here is Senna. I think he was slightly behind at the DRS detection point as well, which means that he will get the added helping of DRS down the start-finish straight, and it will take him that little bit further away here from Little Greavy. I think he was behind. Yeah, he was. You can see there the Red Bull rear wing opening up, and that will give him a little bit more speed. Little Greavy though in the slipstream keeping up with him, but Senna gets that one done and gets the move completed up into third place. The battle going on behind, still raging on. Sean currently leading a train of cars with Dino, V10 Ultra and Stiffmeister on the back of him as well. Little Greavy still on the back of Senna here, coming down towards the De La Rocha chicane, but just too far back at this point. As Mr. Basil here has got ahead of the Greave. The Greave are getting a good exit out of turn 1. These guys are side by side here as they come through the Curva Grande. And Mr. Basil trying to keep it around the outside. He will have the inside coming into the De La Rocha chicane. And Mr. Basil there moving back through, but the Greave keeping himself there. These two are still side by side as they come down towards Lesmo 1. The Greave there down the inside up into P13. He goes a little bit deep there though. Mr. Basil will get the run here in towards Lesmo 2. And back down the inside goes Mr. Basil. Back up into 13th place. These two trading places. Nice little battle here between those two. As Pusher Dino here, he's got a bit of a run on Sean down towards the Parabolica. Looking to the outside there. Sean currently covers it off though. Oh, almost a bit of contact there. Oh no! And Sean crashes out of the race there. He's binned it into the wall. Loses his front wing and terminal damage there on the Aston Martin. And the safety car has been deployed. So that's going to give everybody a free pit stop here. Pusher Dino making full use of it. Into the pits he comes. The leaders have already gone past, but Pusher Dino coming in. So is Eggman. Who else is going to come in and make the most of a safety car? Pretty much everybody. Yep, everybody that could come in is coming in. So everybody from 8th downwards making the most of this opportunity here. And they'll all have ticked their box and done their mandatory pit stop. Guys like Joram, Gertian, Senna, Little Greavy, V10 Ultra, Stiffmeister. They've all still got to do their pit stop. So this could really cost those 6 guys huge amounts in this race. It's going to benefit Mike quite a bit. If he's, well, I don't know if he's within... Don't know. I mean, it depends actually, because these guys, I mean, Joram actually, to be fair, he'll still benefit. He'll still be able to come in for essentially a free pit stop here because they haven't picked up the safety car yet. So actually, Jerome and Gertian will effectively get the advantage of being able to pit under the safety car still. Obviously, if they'd joined the queue already, then they wouldn't have been able to. But because they haven't joined the queue, they're all still going to get that benefit. So Gertian into the pits, Jerome, Gertian, Senna coming into the Parabolica will also be able to come in. But this is great for Senna actually, because I'll tell you what, Senna obviously, was running behind in this race. Was about a net 10 seconds behind Jerome and Gertian. With the safety car coming out, it now means that he's going to be on the back of them on the same strategy. Oh, what's going on there? Jesus Christ, what was going on there between Little Greavy and Senna? Little Greavy there trying to overtake Senna on his way into the pits. There's a time and a place for that, Little Greavy, and the pit lane is not it. But nonetheless, Senna's got his new tyres on, his medium tyres, so he's in a similar strategy to Jerome and Gertian. And he's come out behind Little Greavy, so Little Greavy's staying out ahead of him at the moment. But obviously, they're all in a similar boat. Mike on the hard tyres will have a disadvantage over the guys behind him, Little Greavy and Senna. But if Senna can get ahead of Little Greavy and Mike quickly, he might have a chance of fighting Jerome and Gertian for this race win. It's certainly not out of the question here. So Senna could be a bit of a dark horse in this race. Still a long way to go here in this Italian Grand Prix, but it's Jerome leading ahead of Gertian, followed by Mike, who's at a bit of a disadvantage being on the hard tyres for his second stint, and obviously would have reaped the benefits before of having a gap to the others, but now he's got a load of medium runners behind him, Little Greavy, Senna and V10 Ultra, so he could be a bit of a sitting duck here for the likes of those three. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Here we are then, guys. We're just coming down towards the end of the lap here. Lap 14 of the Italian Grand Prix here at Motive. We're just over halfway, or half distance, but obviously we haven't had as much of the race as we'd like to have had because we've run the safety car for quite a bit of it. But we've got Joram here leading ahead of Gertie, and these two absolutely nip and tuck over the course of this race so far. But they've now got Senna on the medium tyres in P5 and Little Greavy in V10 Ultra as well. Mike on the hards in third place. I said before, he might struggle in his final stint with the pack being so bunched up. It looks like Joram has already gone here, so we're already underway as we're coming out even before we got into the Parabolica. So Joram is now racing us, or getting us racing here as we're coming over the line here to start lap 15 of the race. He's already got nearly a second here over Gertian, who was just not really ready, I think, for Joram to bolt it coming into the Parabolica. Mike here has got Little Greavy looking to his outside in towards the first chicane, but he's too far back. There's Senna ahead of V10 Ultra, followed by Pushadana. You've got Stiffmeister ahead of Eggman, followed by Mr. Basil. And you've got the Grieve very close here with Crazy Max into turn 1. There's Trucky. Matty Pitts made the move on Polish My Balls. They're up into P15, and actually Polish My Balls has lost out to Martin as well. So Martin getting himself up into P15. But it is currently Joram here leading ahead of Gertie, and with Mike there running in third place just behind these guys at this stage. So here we come down towards Ascari on lap 15 of the race, currently a second separating the top three. Mike doing a good job of keeping up with him. Tell you what, his pace on the hard seems better than it was on the soft. Bizarre, really. Then again, it's only the first lap of the restart, I guess. You can't really read too much into it at this point. One big surprise though, Senna has dropped off of the leaders quite a bit. He's 2 seconds behind Little Greavy on those fresh medium tyres. I'd have thought he'd be flying at this point, but he's had a bit of a sleepy start here as Senna, struggling on the restart for whatever reason, not getting the tyres up to temperature here. But hopefully he can get on top of that over the course of the rest of this race. I mean, he's only 4 seconds off of the lead, so still a little way to go here as well. 12 laps to go in this Italian Grand Prix. We've got side by side here, Stiffmeister looking down the inside of Pusher Dino into turn 1. Is that going to be job done there for Stiffmeister? I think it is. Pusher Dino getting a slightly better exit out of the first chicane and through the Carver Grande. He moves himself through, back up into 7th place there as Pusher Dino. Stiffmeister looking back to the inside though, into the Delos chicane. Is that job done there for him? He goes a little bit deep there and tacks the curve a little bit, and Pusher Dino's going to get the run here through down towards Lesmo 1. Pushadino back down the inside of Stiffmeister into 7th place. These two having a great little dice. And Pushadino there getting himself into P7 there. Mr. Basil is on the back of Eggman. You can see these guys fighting out over 9th and 10th places at this point. Stiffmeister trying to come back at Pushadino though, underneath the old circuit in towards Ascari. Pushadino defending to the inside there into Ascari. No way around there for Stiffmeister. Can he get a run though coming out of Ascari down towards the Parabolica? Potentially he might be able to. Pushadino there getting onto the curb a little bit there. Stiffmeister with the run down towards the Parabolica we go. And Stiffmeister there down the inside gets himself up into 7th place. Beautifully done there from him. In the meantime, Martin has made the move up into P13 ahead of Crazy Max. So he's done a good job there as Martin. Pushadino here looking to the inside on Stiffmeister into the first chicane, so just a little bit too far away at this point. Mr. Basil getting closer and closer to the back of Eggman here as they come through the Carver Grande. Looks to the inside there into the Delage chicane, but too far away there. And Eggman was a little bit deep there going through the Delage chicane, but kept onto it. Crazy Max here side by side with Martin. Martin just holding on. It's very close racing between these two. Crazy Max just getting the edge of it into Lesmo 1 around the outside, keeps on to 13th place, but good battle there between those two. So here we come down the back straight once again. Martin here breezing past Crazy Max as down towards Ascari we go. Gets himself through up into P13. Crazy Max in the meantime all over the back of Matty Pitt as they're coming out of the Parabolica. But seems to not be getting the run here onto the start-finish straight. Mr. Basil's got ahead of Eggman into turn 1. Good move there from Mr. Basil down the inside. And he's up into 9th place now, so he can now focus his attention on Pusher Dinos a couple of seconds up at the road maybe. Trocky's still on the back of the Grieve, those guys battling out over 11th. You've got Matty Pitt still there with Martin as Stiffmeister's trying to run on the outside here of V10 Ultra. He gets it done there to Stiffmeister, beautifully done. But has he got it done? I don't know. Yeah, he has. He's miles ahead of him. Right, so yeah, V10 Ultra didn't get a great run there coming out of the orange chicane. And yes, well behind him already here. But Eggman still on the back of Mr. Basil. These guys just under a second between them. Chucky still on the back of the Grieve as well as they're coming out of Lesmo 2. There's Matty Pitt, who's just lost a bit of time there to Martin coming out of Lesmo 2. Chucky here with a bit of a run into Ascari, looking to the inside on the Grieve. Goes a little bit deep there though, does Chucky, but still there, still on the back of him. Still manages to get a great run there out of Ascari, and Trocky's going to surely make this move. The Grieve makes his move to defend the inside line. Trocky on the hard tyres, the Grieve on the mediums. The Grieve really struggling in the final part of this race, and Trocky running outside the Grieve there, goes late on the brakes and pushed him a little bit wide there. Bit naughty from the Grieve, very aggressive, and Martin now trying to attack on the back of Trocky, but the Grieve holding on to that position due to a bit of aggressive driving there, to say the least. And Martin's now going to make the move around the outside of Trocky. Oh, and there's contact. Oh no! And Martin there into the wall has lost his front wing. I'm surprised that wasn't terminal damage at the speed they were going at the speed he hit the wall. But he's going to have to drive around the entire lap with no front wing. He's lost out to Matty Pitt. What on earth went on there between Trocky and Martin in a straight line as they were behind the Grieve, jostling for position? That was handbags and a half there from those guys. As Little Grieve is still on the back of Senna in this fight for 9th place. Senna's not really making the gains on the top 3 that he would be wanting to. I said before on the medium tyres, surely he'd have a chance, but he's making no impression on Mike in 3rd place at the moment as Eggman. And Mr. Basil's lost it. Coming out of Esmo 2, manages to escape without terminal damage there, but he's lost his front wing. As we've got double wave yellow flags throughout the whole track, and we've got a safety car. We've got a safety car. We've got a safety car for a driver who's... Oh, Mike's out of the race, that's why. Where's Mike crashed out on the exit of Ascari? Look at that! He's the Ferrari there in the wall on the exit of Ascari. Look to the right here, you can see just there. There he is. And Mike out of the race here on lap 19. That's going to give us, probably about a 5-lap dash by the time that the safety car's ended. And who's going to come into the pits? Joram's coming in for a set of softs. And so is Little Grievy. Joram here has put the soft tyres on. He's come out in P4. Is he going to stay ahead of Eggman? He is going to stay ahead of Eggman. So, Joram here in a good position. Gertian obviously with track position at the front. Senna now in 2nd place, but Joram, surely nothing's going to be stopping him on those soft tyres from coming after Gertian and Senna and displacing them with ease, surely. You'd put your money on him, wouldn't you, at this point? With Joram's pace and the fact that he's got the fastest soft tyres on, I can't see him losing this race, personally. But who knows what's going to happen. Probably we're going to have about 5 racing laps here at the end of this Italian Grand Prix. And it's going to be a bit of a grandstand finish here with Gertian and Senna now running in 1 and 2. Stiffmeister there on the hard tyres is going to be an absolute sitting duck for Joram. But what can Joram do with Gertian and Senna? You'd think he'd surely be able to pass them with ease. But anything is possible. Here we are then, ladies and gentlemen. We are 5 laps from the end of the Italian Grand Prix here at Motive for Season 5, round 15 of 21. What a race it's been. We've had 3 safety car periods in this Grand Prix. We've got ourselves a 5-lap dash to the flag here with Gelram on fresh soft tyres running in 4th place. How quickly can he dispatch Stiffmeister, and how quickly can he go after Gertjan? Can Gertjan try and pull a gap to Senna? What sort of gap can Gertjan get to Gelram before Gelram gets himself into surely what's going to be P2? Can Senna get the jump on Gertjan? Can they both hold each other up and be sitting ducks for Gelram? These are so many questions. Can Gelram potentially get a bad start and lose a position and be on the back foot? I mean, these are all questions that we're about to find out here on this restart. My money's on Gelram. In my opinion, I think on those soft tyres he's going to be almost unstoppable in the final 5 laps of this race. But anything can happen here as we're coming into the Parabolica now. Gertjan's going to surely be trying to catch him off guard. He's gone. We're racing now on the exit of the Parabolica. He's put his foot to the floor. Oh, my game's crashing.